Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. My name's Rick Goddard. I'm from ABC Radio Hobart. It's my great pleasure to be your host this afternoon here at the Crown Plaza in Hobart, Yapalingana. I have to say this is one of my favourite events of the year because it's a reminder of the great good that exists all around us. Kindness, courage, and generosity, sacrifice, all woven into the rich cultural heritage of our country. One of the things about Australia and being Australian is that however we come, we always come together over the shared pride we feel for Australian spirit and the friendships that define us as a nation. The Australian of the Year Awards are committed to showcasing extraordinary members of our community. The nominees are people who roll up their sleeves, start movements, create conversations, and lend a helping hand. The awards are not a role or a responsibility. They're recognition of those whose day-to-day efforts are making a real difference in the lives of others. So whether you're here today or watching online on ABC iView, and you can tell your friends that's there, or at australianoftheyear.org being streamed online for the under 35s, welcome. You're in for a wonderful celebration of incredible Tasmanians and Australians. We encourage you to show your support for the event and let people know that they can join us right now by getting your phone out and getting on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our hashtag's on the screen, Oz of the Year. Thanks also to Kylie and Joe for Auslan interpreting for us this afternoon. I would like to officially welcome the Honourable Jeremy Rockliff, MP, Premier of Tasmania, Her Excellency the Honourable Barbara Baker, AC, Governor of Tasmania, and Professor Don Chalmers. Please make them welcome. We also have the Honourable Patrick Gorman MP, Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister in attendance today. It's great to have you here for this event. Thank you for coming. Welcome also to Carly Brand, CEO of the National Australia Day Council, without who these awards would not be possible, and also the Honourable Cassie O'Connor MP, Leader of the Tasmanian Greens Party today. Unfortunately, the Honourable Rebecca White MP, Leader of the Tasmanian Labor Party, sends her apologies. I'd like to now welcome Uncle Rodney Dillon from Oka Rain to the stage to welcome us to country. Rodney.
Welcome, brothers and sisters. Welcome everyone else to our lands, our people's lands, our ancestors who's come before us. Our history before me and before my brothers and sisters is invisible. And the reason why it's invisible, there's many reasons for it to be invisible. The past for our people was a violent past, and today we're coming together slowly as a group of people to work together to go forwards, and we haven't always done that. Recognise our Premier and our Governor for your work, Premier, for wanting to have a treaty with our people. That treaty will be a very important part of the fabric of this country. That fabric will build strength of the people who we are and where we're going. Because before, we've never had people who have wanted to recognise our history. And to see Auntie Wendell there and her family, the lack of recognition that their people, all of our people together, has always been a struggle. But we see that places like this is important. Australian of the Year is an important recognition for some of the work that people do. It's important for the people here today and for our government to stand up and want to have that treaty with our people and recognise the past. And having that, walking down the road together, arm in arm, will be a great step that we take as people. But we need, and we've also got, that's the state government, but we've got the federal government who wants to have a voice to Parliament. These things are all important for us as a country. once again, it strengthens the fabric of this country. It gives this country 60,000 years of history rather than 200 and whatever it is from whoever that bloke was in that boat. We won't mention his name. That recognition and understanding of us coming together is so important, and use people will be the planks that join, that bring us together, because today we're not together and we have never been together, and we are coming together better than what we was. We are learning to do that. So I think that these steps that we take in the future will be very important from the state government, the federal government, and use people working together with us to make this place better for our people than what it has. We talk about closing the gap. We know of all those gaps. We know of the little kids in our prison system. We know our people are not living to the same age, less likely to have jobs, less likely to have a house. All those issues that our people struggle with from hour to hour, not day to day, hour to hour. They're important things that we need to make change in this country. And it's not just our people, the people that live in poverty, they're in that area as well. And it's important for us to come together and think about how we are going to make this a better place for all. I think they're the steps. And in saying that, our old ancestors would want us to be together. They would want us to be making steps in the right direction. So once again, everyone, welcome onto our lands, and I hope that yous, all the people that win these awards, it's not just about winning the awards, but it's about all the people that make up the awards. So just thinking of that, welcome everyone and thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Rodney, for that important reminder of the values that bring us together, and a welcome to your country and that hope for the future, and your convictions speaking these words again and again and again until they are now beginning to be heard. Thank you so much. Yeah. On behalf of the Australia Day Committee and everyone here, I would like to also acknowledge and pay respect to the Tasmanian Aboriginal people of the past and present custodians of this land, and pay my respect to elders past and present. On this beautiful part of our island, Lutruwita, I acknowledge the local traditional owners of the land we meet on, the Muanina people. The land, sea and waterways of Tasmania have been and continue to be important to Tasmanian Aboriginal people and their connection to country, and it is their generosity that allows us to share in the beauty, wealth and benefits of living on this land, Lutruwita, Tasmania. Please stand now, and the Army Band with Mel Brown will perform the National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you, the Australian Army Band. Thank you so much for bringing us together with that song and our anthem. For more than 60 years, ladies and gentlemen, unknown volunteers, pioneering advocates, and your humble neighbour next door have been nominated for the Australian of the Year Awards. These awards are community-led, they're for the people, nominated by the people, and chosen by a diverse selection of representatives from across our state. And it's a really hard job. Anyone can nominate someone who inspires them, and the online nominations process is open to the public 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The nominees you're about to meet demonstrate courage, resilience, and selflessness. And in times when Australians are facing so many hardships, these are the people who are tireless in their advocacy and demonstrate what it means to be a great Australian. Our nominees come from all walks of life. They have their own personal stories about what motivates them. The stories are inspiring and moving, and they allow us to reflect, respect, and celebrate our collective human experiences of joy, grief, hope, and triumph, because they are, and we are all, part of this nation's story. If you're new to the awards, we have 4 categories: Australia's Local Hero, Young Australian of the Year, Senior Australian of the Year, and the Australian of the Year. We received thousands of nominations for these, people going above and beyond. From those nominations, today we celebrate 15 incredible people recognised for their outstanding achievements who represent the best of this state. It is no small feat to be in this room today. One recipient will be announced in each of the 4 categories. Those 4 then go on to join other state and territory recipients at the National Awards on the eve of Australia Day. They're announced by the Prime Minister and broadcast on ABC TV and ABC iView. And whatever the outcome this afternoon, all of our nominees richly deserve to be here. We congratulate you for your dedication, your perseverance, and your contribution to our state and our country. Let's give them a round of applause. It's an incredible honour to be part of these stories every year, and it's part of my year I treasure very, very deeply. And I've shared this stage with many a Tasmanian Premier, and it's my delight now to invite the Honourable Jeremy Rockliff, Premier of Tasmania, to share some words. Please give him a warm welcome.
Well, thank you very much for that, Rick. Can I begin by thanking Rodney for his welcome to country and those very, very important words as we walk on the journey together to pathway to treaty, and importantly, the voice to Parliament, and given my commitment to the Prime Minister that we will work together to achieve that very, very important objective. And I acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands of which we're meeting today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Her Excellency, the Honourable Barbara Baker, AC, Professor Don Chalmers, the Honourable Patrick Gorman MP, Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister. Thank you so much, Patrick. You are well travelled and you've made time for us today, and we very much appreciate that indeed. Cassie O'Connor, MP, Ms Carly Brand, National Australia Day Council CEO. Well, each and every year our nation celebrates the achievement and contribution of outstanding Australian citizens through the Australian of the Year Awards by profiling leading citizens who are role models for each and every one of us. And they inspire us through their achievements and challenge us, of course, to make our own contributions to help create a better Australia. The Australian of the Year Awards recognise people in our community who give of themselves and whose contributions ignite discussions and change on issues of national significance. The awards provides all Australians with the opportunity to recognise someone that they consider worthy of acknowledgement in 4 categories: Australian of the Year, Senior Australian of the Year, Young Australian of the Year, and Australia's Local Hero. And being nominated for an Australian of the Year award is a great honour. The awards give the community an opportunity to recognise and reward someone who makes them proud to be Australian. The 2023 finalists have been shortlisted by the panel for their significant contribution to our Australian community, their positioning as an inspirational role model and their demonstrated excellence in their respective fields. And I would like to congratulate heartily the 16 Tasmanian nominees across those 4 categories who are being recognised today, and I thank each and every one of you for the work that you do and have done and continue to do for everyone in our community. As we hear their stories and lived experiences this afternoon. You will get to know how each nominee has been an inspiration, how they have positively influenced the lives of others and made a huge impact on the well-being of the state that we love. Each one of the nominees are deserving of this prestigious recognition. So, as Premier of Tasmania, thanks to you all for your contributions that you are making and continue to make to your community and to making Tasmania a better place to live for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Premier, for those inspiring words. Well, the time has arrived. Our first 2023 Australian of the Year award for Tasmania is the category of Local Hero. Yes, you can break through the nerves now. This category recognises Australians making a significant contribution in their local community. At January's national event, we'll be celebrating 20 years of the Local Hero Award. It's been supported by the Department of Home Affairs since its inception. To all of our local heroes present today or watching online, we say a massive thank you for your contribution to your local area and to our state. Let's hear it for them, ladies and gentlemen. And the nominees for the 2023 Tasmania Local Hero are...
Christine Bull is a psychologist who's built a strong support network for children and families in Devonport, Tasmania. Christine was instrumental in creating the Pathway Shed, a youth and families outreach centre, and Pathway House, which provides low-cost psychology and counselling services. She's also developed Brain Boot Camp, a mental health program for local children. Amanda French has worked in the not-for-profit sector her entire career, making a positive difference to people's lives. In 2019, Amanda founded Dress for Success Hobart. The program gives women the confidence and the right clothes to succeed at job interviews. Not only does it help women achieve employment and financial independence, it also empowers them to thrive in all aspects of their lives. Babajide Omajola is changing lives one conversation at a time. Babajide helps African migrants to Tasmania adjust to Australian culture and find study and work opportunities. He also supports prison inmates to build skills and find causes to contribute to. He doesn't believe a person's past defines their future. It's what we do now and who we help that matters. Keith Parker specialised in explosive ordnance his entire army career, serving overseas and assisting the UN on several occasions. When he's not on army duty, Keith saves lives in Sheffield, serving as a volunteer ambulance officer. Since 2011, he's contributed an average of 1,500 hours a year, including providing training to other volunteers throughout the region. Keith is often the first responder if no paramedics are available.
Aren't they amazing? We're so lucky. Yes, go on. They're like a team of superheroes, you know, imagine. It's so amazing to have people like this in the community. One of our nominees isn't able to be here in person today, but with the magic of technology, which we are now so delightfully familiar with, should be able to join us on screen. Hello, Keith. There he is. Can I ask the nominees in the room to stand, please? Here they are, just for this category, and let's give them all a round of applause. And then you can sit down again. There's brilliant stuff. We have our 2022 Local Hero winner, Kim Smith, here with us today to reflect on his experience and also pass on this year's award. Please welcome Kim to the stage. Kim. Before we announce our first award, Kim, what's it been like for you since you were awarded our state local hero last year?
Oh, it's been a whirlwind over the last 12 months, and especially the event in September.
Now, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, being the Tasmanian selected to go and attend the Queen's funeral was an amazing experience, and I was so pleased to be able to represent the state and Australia for that matter, to mourn the loss of our Queen and to represent there with the other 9 Australians that were chosen.
And we had some really fun conversations where you were pretty heavily jet lagged, and you held up really well and had a bit of fun on the PM's plane, I heard. But we won't go into that today. With the Local Heroes Award, what's the award done to allow you to further your conversation in the community?
Well, certainly getting more requests from young people, from service agencies and so forth that need help, because not everyone learns the same way. And so they need help to get their learner's licence, to understand the road rules, and especially now with the road toll the way it is, it's more important that they get to learn and understand the concepts of the road rules. And the work I'm doing with PCYCs and with Rotary as well. It's important to continue that.
An entire generation of Tasmanians who can zip merge and navigate a roundabout. Not many people in this room, but that's okay, we'll get there. Amazing, thank you so much, Kim. And if you come, I think, to the middle of the stage, isn't it, to present the award. And Premier, if you can join us back on stage and tell us who our local hero is. This will be so slick next time. It's going to be amazing, amazing.
Well, very well organised. It's here already.
Very good.
Well, thank you, Rick. Thank you, Kim. And the 2023 local hero for Tasmania is Keith Parker. Congratulations, Keith.
Thank you.
Keith, congratulations. The Premier is holding the award for you. Were you aware that you'd been put forward at all? Do you know who dobbed you in?
Yes, one of the paramedics I work with quite a lot decided that he was going to put me in, and when I got the phone call, it must admit gave me a bit of a shock, because I think there's so many more wonderful people, but I appreciate on behalf of all volunteers who do so much for everyone in all the services.
You already serve this country. What made you then, in your spare time, want to serve your community?
The little town of Sheffield is such a diverse range of people. It's the normal town, it's the rural area, plus a lot of visitors. And I saw a need for helping people, because when someone's having a very bad day, I think if you can actually make that a little bit better for them, and that's a fairly unique gift you can give. And the best joy that I think I've ever seen is when I've helped someone who was quite unwell and thanked me several weeks later in the local coffee shop, and change at him was remarkable. He'd got his health back, and from a fairly dire position to someone who was now willing to get on with his life. And I was a little bit of that. That was very rewarding. I really take that to heart.
1,500 hours a year, I barely find that to even read books or relax. It's quite incredible. Making that time, you see humanity at its best and worst. What have you learned about us?
I think when it comes down to it, we all, doesn't matter what you've done, who you are, when you're feeling things have got you down or you're having a bad situation for whatever, we all need help. I mean, it doesn't matter how you got there, it's the fact that you are there and you need help at the time. And put all your prejudices aside and just look at the person as a person. And I think that's something we can all do probably easier than what we think we can.
From your experience and what you've witnessed, particularly in regional and rural Tasmania, mental health is such a huge challenge, poverty and inequality. What is the biggest changes you would like to see?
I'd like to see more help for the people, and it is coming. The health services, to be realistic, we're on a small island and we don't have as many resources as we'd like, but the mental health support is getting better. Is it as good as we would like? No. But the biggest point is, I think, never give up. We try and get the people into the right help for them at the time. Sometimes it works really well. Sometimes we've just got to try a different approach. I've seen one person who had significant issues and then got the right help at the right time, changed that person's life, went from being probably a weekly issue to healthy, and we haven't seen that person involved in any issues for a long time. But it was the right help, the right time, and it just helped that one person. And if we take them one at a time, then probably that's a good way of doing it. Don't let it overwhelm you, because we can make a difference. It just has to be done not piecemeal, I should say, but progressively.
Keith, you make it sound so simple. There you go, Premier. All the solutions. 2023 Tasmanian Local Hero, thank you, congratulations.
I'm humbled, thank you.
Now to the Young Australian of the Year category, supported by the Department of Education. This award recognises inspiring young Australians between 16 and 30 years of age who've accomplished great things already and are making a positive difference.
Tasmanian Miriam Dowie ran her first marathon at aged 16, raising money for Syrians affected by the civil war. The registered nurse who works in paediatrics and oncology has also run to raise awareness and funds for childhood cancer research. She was awarded the 2021 Peter Norman Humanitarian Award for her community and philanthropic efforts. For 158 days straight, Louis Taylor climbed and conquered 158 of Tasmania's most challenging and dangerous mountains, collectively known as the Ables. He trekked alone through snow, rain, hail and blistering sun to raise money for cancer research after his mother was diagnosed with breast cancer for the second time. Louis raised more than $167,000 for Cancer Council Tasmania. Physiotherapist Elizabeth Van Doggen was born with cystic fibrosis, an incurable illness primarily affecting the lungs and digestive system. Elizabeth successfully campaigned for a drug that treats the disorder's underlying conditions to be put on the pharmaceutical benefits scheme. The life-changing treatment was made affordable after a petition she helped publicise received 58,274 signatures and was presented to federal parliament.
It's so reassuring to know the future of Tasmania and Australia lies with these fantastic young people. Can our nominees please stand and let's give them a huge round of applause. Congratulations. We have our 2022 Young Australian of the Year, Caitlin Johnson, here with us today to join me on stage. We didn't get to meet last time because it was all on screens and COVID. You guys can sit down again. That's all good. Caitlin, please welcome Caitlin up on stage today. It's really special because we only clapped them remotely last time, so give it up. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
What did receiving the award last year mean to you?
It meant so much to me. I think what it came down to was the fact that Tasmanians had belief in me and the trust in me to represent them, and particularly the young people in our state. As a young girl who grew up on the northwest coast, that's pretty special, and I think it holds a lot of power in a sense that if I can get an award like this, the amazing things that other young women, Indigenous women, non-Indigenous women, boys and girls across Tasmania, what we can achieve.
And for the work that you were doing, how's it advanced in the last year?
This award has been such a huge platform to speak to people, not just in Tassie, but across the nation, about the things that are important to me and the things that are important to Tasmania's youth. I'm so grateful for that. I've been able to speak to the importance of increasing our opportunities for our young leaders, our young rural leaders, particularly in Tasmania. Again, our Indigenous populations. It's super important that we're really recognising our Indigenous populations and celebrating the contributions that they make to our communities. And finally, it's also given me a platform to speak about the incredible importance of taking action on climate change yesterday. And I'm super grateful for the opportunity to speak on those three things.
And what was the experience of going to Canberra like?
Canberra was incredible. I can't even begin to speak about the feeling of being surrounded by Australia's most inspiring people is just something that you can't really put into words, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity again today. As you said, I wasn't here last year, so it's amazing to meet all of the nominees this year as well.
Well, and thank you for being one of Australia's most inspiring people.
Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant. And it's time now to pass on the baton with this award. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And Premier, if you could join us on stage again to tell us who is the 2023 Tasmanian Young Australian of the Year.
Well, thank you very much, Rick, and I congratulate all inspiring nominees. And the 2023 Young Australian of the Year for Tasmania is Miriam Dowie. Congratulations.
We'll just grab a photo here if we can. Thank you. Woo! Thank you. I'll come back, Miriam. Yeah, so we'll let the Premier go. I'll keep Miriam though. You come back. It's like the Tassie two-step. It's cultural. It's all right. For those of you online, this is what we do here. Miriam, congratulations.
Thank you.
You look pretty surprised.
Very surprised.
It's these long-distance runners there, troublemakers,
Yep.
and advocates. What started you running?
So, bit of a backstory. Originally from Morocco, so I moved to Australia when I was 4. And lived in Sydney for a while. In 2009, me and my family moved down to Tassie. And yeah, when I started school, I was bullied quite a bit because I was the only girl that wore the headscarf, which is also known as the hijab. And that sort of spiraled into a really dark place for me. I suffered a lot with my mental health. And my paediatrician at the time suggested that I actually move schools, which I am very grateful for. So I went to Ogilvy High, and one of my friends was a runner, and she's like, Miriam, sign up for the City to Casino fun run, you'll love it. And I was like, I can't run 7 Ks without stopping. I was very hesitant.
Me either.
I was like, okay, I'll trust you, and I signed up, and I just fell in love with the atmosphere at the City to Casino fun run because there were people from all walks of life, just out there and enjoying the movement of exercise. And I actually finished the run without stopping, and that made me realise that if I was able to prove my doubts wrong, what else can I achieve? And since then I've used my running as a platform to raise awareness and funds for causes close to my heart. Because sometimes I often feel helpless when I see things that's happening around me, and I just want to help and contribute in some way. So my first marathon I did for Syria to raise money and awareness for the civil war that they were having. So ended up raising, I think, over $5,000, and that went towards getting medical aid and just necessities for the people and the Syrian civilians. And later on, I also I'm a registered nurse and I work in oncology, and I raised money for Cancer Council Tasmania by running Cadbury Marathon. And last year I did the Tim Blair Run for Kids Everest Challenge, where I ran the Point to Pinnacle course, also known as the world's hardest half marathon. So that starts from the casino up to Kananye, every day for 7 days. And that was such a amazing experience. Over 12 grand was raised. And it's not about the money that was raised, but the awareness and the connections that I made with community. I actually even had, I looked after a patient who unfortunately passed from childhood cancer, and her mum reached out to me and said that she really appreciated what I was doing, and that was really special for me. And cancer has affected many people in my life and my family. When I was young, my grandfather was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and by the time he found out, we couldn't do much. And I remember we lived quite rurally in a farm, and, we'd go to his treatments and it would take at least, 2-hour drives each way. And during his last days, my mum's friend Fadma, who was a doctor, offered to actually bring us his medication so we wouldn't make the commutes. And I remember I told my mum, I want to help people just like Fadma has helped me and us and my grandfather. And I think that's just something that's inbuilt in me. I feel that if I am contributing to society and to my community, that then I'm giving back to everyone who's helped me to be here today, because I believe that as a community, we are so powerful. A little analogy I like to think in my head, it might sound a bit weird. For example, I see community as a body of water, and someone might have a really great idea, but for a boat to sail and to reach its destination, the body of water needs to be present. So I may have initiated the idea of doing this fun run or this fundraising event, but if I didn't have the support from the community, nothing would have happened. So it's a collective effort, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure if that made any sense to you guys.
It totally made sense. Yes, absolutely. And I just have to ask this just briefly, to work in a field where you give so much to others, and to do the kind of running you do, which is so depleting and requires so much support. Who supports you?
As I said, community, my family, my friends. Everyone contributes, and it helps me so much. There's always good days and bad days. It's not always, a linear journey. But yeah, I appreciate everyone's support, because everyone's contributed in helping me to be here today. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And
Tasmanian Young Australian of the Year, Miriam Dowie. Thank you so much.
I also, just wanted to say that I pay my respects to the Indigenous and Aboriginal community, the elders, past, present and emerging, and I pay my respects to country and to the land in which we grow, live and learn in. So thank you.
Thank you, Willikai. Our next award is Senior Australian of the Year. Our category partner, the Department of Health and Aged Care, presents this award, celebrating the ongoing achievements of our passionate and committed Australians 65 years and over. It's the category probably the only one left for most of us in this room, let's be honest, who inspire change and you just got it, didn't you? And won't take no for an answer. I personally love this award because I learned so much from our elders, we all do, their resilience, their positive attitude that impacts and sets the example for the generations to follow.
Retired GP Dr. Scott Bell is so passionate about saving the planet, he's been arrested 9 times and convicted 4 times for peacefully protesting for his beliefs. The conservationist and climate activist is a volunteer and benefactor for a range of social and environmental organisations. His property in northeast Tasmania is now a haven for wildlife conservation. Dr. Frances Donaldson switched to medicine in her 40s after decades of nursing. She's spent the past 4 decades working to improve healthcare standards in Tasmania. She's helped improve nursing standards and leadership, advocating for better health outcomes for prisoners and other disadvantaged Tasmanians. Dr. Frances also helped drive the COVID at Home Plus program in Tasmania. Auntie Wendell Pitchford is seeking recognition of the Frontier Wars and of the Aboriginal warriors who fought in the Black War in Tasmania. For years, she's quietly campaigned for the Tasmanian government to formally acknowledge this violent conflict and its devastating impact on Indigenous peoples. Plans are underway for the establishment of Australia's first Frontier War memorial to honour fallen ancestors. Trevor Snooks has made a 4-hour round trip from Burnie to Launceston every week for the past 16 years, but he doesn't make the journey alone. As a volunteer with the Cancer Council's Transport to Treatment program, he's driven thousands of cancer patients and their carers to and from important appointments since 2006. After retiring, he wanted to give back to the community following his own prostate cancer scare.
If our nominees could please stand, ladies and gentlemen, and let's give them all a huge round of applause. And Auntie Wendell, feel comfortable to sit if that's better for you. Congratulations. And please be seated. As our 2022 Senior Australian of the Year, Bruce French, joins us to reflect on his experience. Please welcome Bruce to the stage. Good on you, Bruce. Nice to see you. Lovely.
Nice to be here.
The year was so defined by COVID. So how was your experience as Senior Australian of the Year, and how did it change through the year?
Coronavirus has restricted the travelling and openings around schools, but also my age has restricted my travelling overseas. There's a thing called the internet, and I've given talks in all sorts of countries and facilitated by my daughter, who's got a bit more computer smart than me. And so stuff is disappearing around the world, even though I'm not quite sure where it's going to, into cyberspace somewhere.
Yeah, I love your TikTok account. It's awesome. What are some of the people that you've been able to meet and connect with and change you've been able to make in the last year?
I get a fairly regular stream of invites to go and talk to all sorts of community groups, and I speak to church groups too. And so a lot of it has been putting it all on the agenda. It absolutely fascinates me when I sit at groups like this to see people who are passionate about something. That's been the highlight for me of the year, going to Canberra and coming here last year and coming here this year. I wish everybody were passionate about some cause and believed in it and got on with the job. Wouldn't we have a different world? So I sit there and listen to people talking about cancer, and every time I'm going through the edible plants of the world, I notice the ones that are good for helping cancer. And then when I'm writing up the Indigenous plants in Tasmania, I contact the Aboriginal Society and say, can I do it on your behalf? And they give me permission to write up the Indigenous plants of Tasmania, and all sorts of fascinating collections, even coronavirus. I was writing up a plant from Brunei, and it said, oh, for years we've been using the bark of this tree to help coronavirus. Coronavirus is not new, it's been around for centuries. So, all sorts of connections, but my passion is to try and help the hungry and malnourished kids of the world. One's dying of malnutrition every 10 seconds, so it's all they need to be doing is empowered with good information. Local plants suit local conditions. Don't bother irrigating the desert or draining swamps. Put the right plant in the right place. Got the.
Yeah, my garden's going to be changed forever now. Why are you passionate? Like, what ignited that fire in you? How do we ignite that in the rest of our community?
If I tell a quick story, well, I was teaching agriculture at what's now a university in Papua New Guinea. They sent us off to a nutrition course, which I thought was strange for agriculturalists. Then just to make sure we got the message, they took us down to Goroka Hospital and 27 kids were all dying of malnutrition. I burst into tears and walked out. I had kids myself that age. Said, why on earth isn't someone doing something to help? They know which plants are edible, but they've got no idea of the food values and which ones suit where. So it's now been a lifetime task. Scientists love to write in language no one can understand. And then they put it in books no one can afford and journals that no one can find. And all I've been doing is putting it all back into nice, simple, plain English, illustrated and sending it back around the world. See?
Congratulations. Thank you so much. You're such an inspiration. Thank you. And what a challenge for our 2023 Senior Australian of the Year to tell such good stories. Bruce, cheers. Yeah, thanks. But you do get the right, once you've got the trophy, to talk for as long as you want. No one can stop you. Premier, please don't keep us in suspense any longer. Let's find out who is our 2023 Tasmanian Senior Australian of the Year.
Thank you very much, Rick, and I enjoyed that Q&A as a farmer from the Northwest Coast. Thank you very much, Bruce. And there's no doubt that each one of our nominees are very passionate about what they do and wonderful contributors to Tasmania. And the 2023 Senior Australian of the Year for Tasmania is Dr. Francis Donaldson. Congratulations.
All right, we'll have nailed this by the end.
Give you the award, Joy. I'll handball it to you.
Premier, thank you so much. Woo! From nursing to medicine, I heard, but is it all medicine?
Now it's being a nurse and being a doctor.
Yeah.
I think being a nurse has made me a much better doctor.
In what way?
I think I am caring and compassionate. I have got good talking skills. I just think that I'm different than the average doctor who hasn't studied nursing.
G'day, doctors. She means just the medical ones, not the PhDs. You're fine. Look, it's the health system, let's be honest. It's Tasmania. It's a challenge constantly to work in such a difficult bureaucracy. Where do you find the inspiration to keep turning up every day and keep making change on the inside?
I just think it's the patients that I'm dealing with, and my job is much different now because I'm a virtual doctor, and so I speak to some wonderful people on the phone, even though they're quite ill with coronavirus. But it's a wonderful experience, and those people inspire me. And our COVID at Home team, it's a nurse-led team, and the nurses inspire me too. They're good at their jobs, they're compassionate, they're clever, and they're a great team to work with.
One of the great things about this category is your depth of perspective over time. So how have you seen health and healthcare evolve?
Well, I suppose I was a funny little girl who lived in Cygnet, and then I went to Ogilvy, and then I started my nursing at the Royal Hubbard Hospital, and I started nursing in 1959, so my experience spans an enormous amount of time. And the things that I've seen, the changes that have happened in medicine, absolutely phenomenal, and I'm so lucky to be able to still be working now.
What frustrates you that hasn't changed or could change? You've got the room.
I just think that the access to health care is not good for all people. I see quite a lot of homeless people, and I know quite a lot of homeless people, and their access to health care, plus the access to health care of people who have come out of prison, is not good. And I think they're the main areas, and older people seeking health care. If you're not very mobile, it's very difficult these days, and medicine's changed because GP practices are different, and there's not as good access for people who are older or younger or disadvantaged.
Coronavirus and COVID has been an enormous challenge, but it's created opportunities for different kinds of projects in the health system for innovation. Yeah. What's been inspirational for you?
I think the COVID at Home team has been inspirational. We started on the 15th of December last year, and we have treated 27,551 patients. Wow. And we have kept most of those patients out of hospital, and that's the aim of the program, is to stop clogging up the hospitals around Tasmania with patients who can be dealt with in their home. And that system will be expanded into many areas of healthcare in the future, from what I can see.
Well, congratulations, and thank you for your vision, leadership and inspiration. The 2023 Tasmanian Senior Australian of the Year. I'd like to now invite Her Excellency the Honourable Barbara Baker, Governor of Tasmania, to share some words with us before our final category. Please welcome our Governor.
Thank you very much, Rick. I begin by paying my respects to the traditional and original owners of this land, the Palawa people. I acknowledge the contemporary Tasmanian Aboriginal community and recognise their enduring culture and continued connection to land, sea and culture. I recognise the history of truth, which acknowledges the impacts of colonisation upon our First People, and I commit to a future that listens to and respects Aboriginal stories, culture and history. May I, as co-host with the Premier and on behalf of us all, again congratulate the finalists. May we also congratulate the winners of the categories announced so far this afternoon. In my role as Governor, I have the opportunity and the privilege to meet many Tasmanians from all walks of life. I'm constantly inspired by the generosity, constant commitment and good nature of many Tasmanians. We help others and provide community and other services in so many ways, all without thought of reward. So these awards are important and represent and acknowledge our spirit of generosity and selflessness. Each finalist nominated is an ambassador of our state and an inspirational role model. Each of you exemplify what can be done in different ways to enrich and contribute to our community. Your nomination is an achievement of which you can be personally proud. An example of generosity and how these awards generate and provide another worthy benefit is that one of the award recipients, our 2022 Tasmanian Australian of the Year, Craig Leeson, next month will talk and provide a film screening pro bono at a fundraising event hosted at Government House. All funds raised will be donated to not-for-profit, apolitical, science and community-based Tasmanian Land Conservancy. And this organisation protects rare Tasmanian ecosystems by buying, conserving and managing areas of private land. So congratulations again to all the award nominees and winners, and indeed to all those who support these awards, including those who made the nominations. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those words, Your Excellency. Really appreciate that. Our final category this afternoon, is the 2023 Tasmanian Australian of the Year Award. It's proudly supported by Australia Post, who are at the heart of Australian communities, connecting them with each other and the world. And don't we love it when they knock on the door? It's a parcel, it's come. It's the best. The Australian of the Year Award celebrates achievements and contributions of eminent Australians who are role models for us all. So let's take a look at the nominees in this year's Tasmanian Australian of the Year category.
Adjunct Professor Gillian Biscoe has devoted decades of her life to the health and social policy sectors in Australia and internationally. She's been a leader in international, national and state health departments, run hospitals and also advised governments and the World Health Organization. As a founding director of the not-for-profit Tasmanian Leaders, Gillian now prioritises coaching our next generation and promoting the importance of leadership. Professor Peter Dargaville is a hands-on clinician specialising in helping premature and newborn babies. His development of a gentler way of treating premature babies in respiratory distress has improved outcomes for preterm newborns internationally. His innovation, known as the Hobart Method, avoids the need for a breathing tube and is now used in over 40 countries across the globe. John Kamara escaped war-torn Sierra Leone 19 years ago to start a new, safe life, eventually settling in Tasmania. He set up the first African Communities Council of Tasmania, assisting migrants, refugees and people from culturally diverse communities build connections and succeed in their new home. John's also the founder of a community choir, Celebrating Nations, which explores music of different cultures to celebrate diversity. Professor Brett McDermott is a psychiatrist specialising in young people with mental health challenges. He's committed to improving the delivery of these services to children and teens. As head of Tasmania's Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, he completed a review of the state's support for young people. After lobbying the government, he now has $41 million to drive reforms.
Nominees. If you could stand up, our nominees, and let's give them all a round of applause now. And take a seat. Absolutely brilliant. I'd like to invite our 2022 Tasmanian Australian of the Year, Craig Leeson, to the stage to talk a bit about what's happened for him in the last year. Please make him welcome.
It's good to be home.
It's pretty lucky to have you home. It's quite rare. Your film opens at COP26, in Egypt?
Yeah, COP27 I head
27,
to
pardon
after
me.
here. I just came from Hong Kong actually to be here, and I put on my jacket and discovered a mask. They've just finished their quarantines there. So I had to go into quarantine when I went there 2 weeks ago. Came here, and tonight I go to Egypt for COP27, but I was at COP26 when I got the award last year. So I made a promise to myself that I would come this year and thank everybody, the people who nominated me, the board from the Australian of the Year Award for trusting me with the award and to do the work that the award requires, and all Tasmanians for being there and being supportive of the work that all of the award recipients need for the support in the work that they do.
Craig, you were making films, you were getting them to these environments like COP26 and 27, so the people who make the decisions are seeing the story of the environment that you want to tell. How does being Tasmanian Australian of the Year make you more heard?
It gives us an incredible platform, and it just makes us work even harder. So my teams and I are dedicated to very important issues: biodiversity loss, single-use plastics, and of course the climate crisis. And it's a different world today than it was 12 months ago. Science is back on the agenda, thankfully. We're taking these issues seriously again. And it's interesting seeing how Australia is being taken seriously overseas in leading the renewable energy charge, and the reasons why we have to do that. We've been through a lot in Australia, and recently in Tasmania as well, with extreme weather events. We've been at the forefront, actually, of a lot of what's happening with the climate. And so people are wanting to know what the experience is like here and what we're doing about it. And so to be able to talk to leaders in these environments like COP27, or one-on-one in the talks and consultations that we do, we've been to more than 15 countries, giving more than 40 keynote speeches and consultations to heads of state, to leaders of corporations, and to students all over the world about these issues, and just telling them what we're finding on the ground when we make these films. When we work with scientists, the people who spend their lives studying these issues, using the latest technology like the scientists that we work with in Antarctica for NASA do, these are the people that we have to listen to. And so our films gives them a voice. And it's important to provide that voice, not for us, but for the next generation, because everything we do is for the next generation. And we need to provide them with the environment, with the planet that we inherited in a better condition than what we were given. And that's our job, that's our role. And to your point, this year has been extraordinarily busy because we've been releasing this new film on IMAX, The Last Glaciers, in North America 2 weeks ago in Melbourne, and it was a real privilege to be able to release the film in Australia. But also we've been engaged in building a new marketplace, a digital marketplace, a green digital marketplace, to help on the solutions side, to show people and consumers how they can become more conscious and smarter consumers by buying products that are better for the planet. We're releasing that in 2 weeks. It's called Kui Marketplace. And we want to get Tasmanians involved with that, so that going forward for the next 12 months, my job is to engage with Tasmanian producers of sustainable and eco-friendly products to show them to the world, but to get the rest of the world to engage with them. Because everywhere I go, people recognise Tasmania because of what we have, this incredible environment that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. And I know that because I've seen other places. And people want to come here because they want to see what they can't see anywhere else.
I think we just need to get the dudes from the army band back to put them away in a room. Don't tell them. Far out. It's expensive enough to live here already. Is it more nerve-wracking for you putting one of your films up in front of a room of world leaders, or like back here in Sydney or at Government House in front of your family and fellow Tasmanians?
That's a really good question. I'm actually more nervous. I've just realised that. I'm more nervous today than I am when I speak to world leaders. And that's because I'm coming back to all of you and I'm reporting on what we've achieved for the last 12 months and holding that up to scrutiny. And with an award that's as important as this, it's important that we actually make headway with the issues that we bring to the public forum. And so to be able to do that today is a great privilege and makes me extraordinarily nervous to be here. So thank you very much for having me back and allowing me this incredible privilege over the last 12 months.
Seems like you've made a bit of headway. It's gone all right.
It's gone all right.
That's the annual report there from our 2022 Tasmanian Australian of the Year, Craig Lee. Do you want to come too? Because he's good at this. This I love. This. Your Excellency, who is the 2023 Tasmanian Australian of the Year?
The 2023 Australian of the Year for Tasmania is John Kamara.
Let's do this on stage. Yeah, come on up. So Craig, you jump out with me. Yeah. That's all right.
Still trying to get the limelight, aren't I?
All right, that was a dramatic reenactment of the selection process. How amazing. All right, congratulations. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Craig. John, I've been to his house. It's the most beautiful, beautiful family. When you arrived in Hobart as a place to live, what did you make of this little town?
I'm gonna get myself together.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Are you a bit surprised?
I am surprised.
Yeah.
I remember 2004 when I landed in Launceston as a refugee. I actually ran back into the plane because it was so cold. Does that answer your question?
Lucky you moved here where it's so much warmer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so, and I moved to Hobart in 2009 for work. And it's been incredible since I got to Hobart with my wife. And it's a place that I called home. And yeah, it's a really nice and lovely place, which I thought it's not that cold and Launceston, I'm not sure, but Hobart is much better.
If you want to think that, that's just fine. What was the need that you saw in the community that made you want to bring people together, firstly through music?
Yeah, music for me, it's my passion, and music brings people together of every language or tribe or color or race. So music is a unique thing for me that when I'm singing and when I play the piano and when I'm with a group, all the stress that I've gone through as a refugee and I've gone through horrific times. So when I'm in that place, it just makes me feel really, really better and take me to a better headspace.
And it's, incredible in a category with people who work in medicine and work in healing, but that plays such a crucial role in the community as well in terms of coherence. What are some of the needs that you've seen in the community here that you've been able to address?
The community, the CALD community, the culturally diverse and linguistic community, I don't think it's been heard in the Tasmanian community. And I think there are a lot of organizations we know that work with refugees and migrants. But I think it hasn't been heard. So there's so much hurt within the CALD community that people don't think about. And some of the things like, you've got a young refugee coming to Australia with 2 kids and settling in a very different country, and 2 months later they've got 2,000 or 3,000 power bills to pay without not understanding that how the system works and how that creates that anxiety and mental stress for them. You've got refugees or migrants or skilled people coming to Australia, they've got their qualifications, and they have to take years of that qualification being recognized. You've got families who've been settled in Australia, they've got their family back home. It takes 50 years when they apply for that process, because to go through to assess that process, you've got young migrant people who are in prison, and they're there because they don't understand the system. And yet you have these organizations all around who are working. So it hasn't been heard. So what I do in the community, if I say it, I'm so passionate about, it's an understatement, because I go home at night and I'm so sad, see how the community is struggling. And yeah, but there are still organizations there. So it hasn't been heard. And yeah, so that drives me.
So I get the sense that everyone's very welcoming, but no one's listening.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And I think the system works like if you're here 2 years, 3 years, all the support you have got, that's disappear. And that's when the resettlement and the integration start. But most organizations, after 2-3 years, you go for yourself. I came here as a young boy. I struggle. I came here by myself. And I know I can't talk about it all, but it's been a hard road. So what I do in the community and go and help my community, it's part of my life.
You carry your own pain. You listen to the pain and hurt of your own community that I know most of us just like to turn away from, even if we know it's happening. But you go home to such a beautiful family. How much is your family, your wife and your children, important to your life, to your well-being, to your work?
My family is my rock. My wife is my rock. Sorry. She has changed my life. My wife is not a refugee. My family is everything. And I'm here because of my family. I'm sorry. It's just
Don't apologize. Because if you didn't cry, like it should be, they'd be hell to pay.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, my family is everything to me, and I've got four beautiful kids. And I was saying to Rick that Rick came to my house, and my kids got to sit in his car.
The ABC car.
Yeah, the ABC car.
Not my car.
And they talk about it all the time, and all the time they talk about it.
It's red. They thought it was the Wiggles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I go home sometimes. I do a really, really hard job, but I go home sometimes. I sit for over an hour, and I couldn't say a word. And my wife would just sit there and look at me before I start talking to her or talking to the kids, because I've got to process things. But yeah, within that hour, I'm back in that space. So my family, it's been a support to me. They've driven me through. I'm out there helping the community. Sorry, I've got to turn this way as well.
Yeah.
I'm out there
That's why he's
helping
a
the
winner.
community. Yes, but my family, it's my biggest drive to what I do. So thank you.
John, just finally, you speak about being heard. This award is all about a spotlight being on you. How do you use this for the next year?
I think this award is going to give us a better platform. The conversation, as I've talked about some of the things that has been neglected in the community, I'm really, really appealing to the government and all peoples of power that let's start the conversation. There are people who are hurting in who are multicultural community in their workplaces, and they are stuck there, and there's no system in place to support them because they got to fit in with the norms. And so I am hoping to start that conversation. I have been hurt, deeply hurt in my professional life. Can't talk about it here, but I am hoping that someone here and get into these places where people are hurting. They're really, really hurting. Some people are changing their names, and they are taking different names because that gives them opportunities. So it's 2002, some of the things that is happening out there, if we talked about it, you imagine, is it really happening? Yes, it is. So I'm hoping this award will bring a lot of conversation, and we sit around the table and talk about it. I want to see migrant people of color in the parliament or in places where they can have bigger opportunity to negotiate laws and policies that impact their daily life, because it's very important.
John, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
2023 Tasmanian Australian of the Year, John Kamara. As I mentioned earlier, our amazing recipients this afternoon become the nominees for the National Award, announced in Canberra on the 25th of January. And I'm really pleased now to welcome to the stage the Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister, the Honourable Patrick Gorman, MP.
Thank you very much, Rick. I didn't bring any jokes with me from Canberra, but I also didn't bring any fruit, so I think I'm okay. I would start by recognising the deep history and culture of this land, acknowledging the Muwinina people, the traditional owners of the land on which we gather. In doing so, I also acknowledge and pay respect to all Tasmanian Aboriginal communities, people who have survived invasion, dispossession, yet continue to maintain identity and culture. And in saying that, I reaffirm the solemn promise from the Australian Government to implement the Uluru Statement from the Heart in full. I also want to acknowledge distinguished guests. The Honourable Jeremy Rockcliffe, the Premier of Tasmania. Thank you very much for having me here today. Your Excellency, the Honourable Barbara Baker, AC Governor of Tasmania, and Professor Don Chalmers. Great to see you here. And if I can also acknowledge the people who make this all happen, particularly Carly Brand, the CEO of the National Australia Day Council, the catering staff who've looked after us today, and of course the staff from the Department of Premier and Cabinet who actually make all of these bits happen. Thank you so much. If we think about the contribution that we recognise in what Tasmania has given to the National Australian of the Year Awards, I think of Peter Kundal, who passed away in December last year, a Tasmanian nominee, someone who brought so much joy to all Australians, and in doing so recognised that actually just doing what you love, doing something that you love so much, can give joy to others. And I think in what we've seen today, again, we see people who are doing things that they love and recognising that in doing that, they give joy and hope to so many others. If I think about Grace Tame, the only Tasmanian to have won Australian of the Year. Oh, sorry, I acknowledge Grace Tame, oh my God. Someone who grabbed that, had already found so much strength and courage to use a voice to change so much in our society, in our community, and then grabbed that opportunity and took it so much further as Australian of the Year, serving, making all of us proud in your service in that role, Grace Tame. And then if I think about what we've just heard from John Kamara in talking about not just speaking up, but speaking up must also be met with listening. And I think reminding us that they are two parts of the whole, and that those of us in leadership positions, whether they be in community leadership positions or whether they be in positions where you may be in politics, able to actually listen and then act. It is so important that all of the Premier's colleagues, my colleagues, that we stop and listen to the messages of the outstanding Australians that we celebrate through these awards, because the Australians of the Year embody the hopes of our nation, the hopes of everyone in this room, that hope that the future can be brighter than the past, a hope that adversity can become triumph, a hope that life-changing breakthroughs are possible. And so while today we celebrate individuals, we're celebrating something much more, which is celebrating what we can achieve when we do work together, when we do listen to one another, and when we actually come together as a nation, bringing the country together is a huge challenge, but it's a challenge which each of us, whether we be a nominee, a winner, or just someone who is here to support someone else, it's a role and a job that we all have to do to bring this country together to achieve those huge breakthroughs, those huge transformative moments that will make Australia an even stronger and prouder country. And with that, I say congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Minister Gorman. I wasn't sure you'd be able to follow John, but I thought that stood up pretty well. Amazing. Let's ask our 4 recipients for 2023 to stand, our category winners in each category, and show our appreciation to you. Please make some noise. You can keep going as long as you like. Auntie Wendell just asked me to acknowledge she's unwell. She's fighting cancer at the moment, so she did have to leave, but she also offers her personal congratulations to each of you and to all of you nominees. Just wanted to let all of you know that. Before we all go today, there's 2 things left to do, and I know your parking's running out. Mine has already. I'll probably get a fine. It's all right. To all 15 nominees today, this is more important. Congratulations. Someone in your community thought you are amazing, and you are. It's a privilege to celebrate your work today. I hope this has motivated everyone watching and listening to get involved and nominate someone who inspires you. Go to australianoftheyear.org.au, follow the nominate button, because when they get told, that alone is such incredible recognition, and that can happen to hundreds, thousands of Australians. None of this would be possible without our partners. We'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the assistance of organisations who make this awards program possible. Firstly, with some brief messages from our National Diversity and Inclusion Partner and our category partners.
Ingenuity,
creativity,
and innovation.
passion, purpose, and the pursuit of excellence.
Inclusion.
And the idea of a fair go.
At Chevron, we believe in human energy.
That's why we support the Australian of the Year Awards.
As the National Diversity and Inclusion Partner,
celebrating the achievement
of outstanding Aussies and from every walk of life.
Because we're all part of the story.
For over 200 years, Australia Post has been at the heart of Australian communities, connecting them to each other and the world. We're thrilled to recognise the incredible Australian of the Year award recipients who make such a profound contribution to their communities and to our nation. We're proud to support the Australian of the Year award and join you in celebrating these inspiring Australians.
Senior Australian of the Year Award recognises and celebrates the incredible achievements of older Australians around the country. As the Minister for Aged Care, I want to congratulate all of you on being nominated. Ageing well means staying healthy and connecting with community. Improving the lives of others shows your continued passion and commitment to living well. I wish you all the best in the finals, but importantly, I want to acknowledge that every one of you should be proud of your continued achievements. You are an inspiration to all of us, and your legacies will benefit the nation for generations to come.
As the Minister for Youth, I'm thrilled to congratulate the 2023 State and Territory Young Australian of the Year finalists. Your perspectives as young Australians on major issues and decisions our country faces are unique. It's invaluable to engage with young people and to hear your innovative ideas. You've each been recognised for the significant contributions and unwavering dedication you have given to your communities, having a real impact on people's lives. These outstanding and inspirational achievements should be celebrated and commended.
Australia's Local Hero Award is a celebration and acknowledgement of those in our communities who reach out a hand to help others. Their selfless actions have a life-changing impact on those around them. Thank you to each of the finalists for being outstanding role models for all of us. Congratulations.
Those major sponsors. Thanks also to Chevron, Australia Post, the Departments of Health and Aged Care, Education and Home Affairs. We also thank our broadcast partner, ABC and ABC iView, and the unbelievable work of ABC Local Radio Hobart, who connect us with communities around Australia on TV, radio and online. Thanks to our media partner, Australian Community Media, who support our call for nominations nationwide through their leading rural and regional news brands. Our alumni partner, the International Day of People with a Disability, marked on the 3rd of December each year. Our official hotel partner is Crown Plaza Canberra, and they give warm hospitality to our recipients, especially in January. Our cultural partner is the Australian National University, who support us through the School of Art for the design of the trophies and the School of Music for announcement anthems and the events in January. It's a really great collaboration throughout the year. And last but not least, continued support from our legal partner, Minter Ellison, who always pays special attention to the Hobart leg of this event. Please join me in thanking our partners for their vital and ongoing support. I'd like to also thank Kylie and Joe, our Auslan interpreters. Thank you for your excellent work. Please don't forget to think about who inspires you and nominate at australianoftheyear.org.au as you're out enjoying the hospitality here. It's a fair trade. If all of our nominees, I wish you success in the future endeavours. To recipients, I wish you the best in the National Awards, the next stage of the program. And all of you, please stay right now for a photo. So come straight up to stage with your certificate or your trophy as well, and we'll get those photos of you, which then ends our formal proceedings. Don't forget to tune in to the Nationwide Awards on January the 25th. Just like this afternoon, it's an inspirational event. So finalists, please come to the stage for a group photo. And please now, can we all stand for the departure of Her Excellency? Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Let's congratulate everyone one more time, and please have a very good evening.